Hello and welcome. This is, as it turns out, one one of my favorite strategy games. And so happens that tomorrow, 5th of January, it will come out of release candidate and be the full game, although it's already full. Really solid game. I spent at this point a little more than 200, maybe close to 300 hours, but you know, it's awesome. So yeah, you can place one of several fractions, and yeah, start on at least normal, maybe give up for the at least the first playthrough, and I would say even go with 5 fractions. And start as you positively already hate the servants, but then there's the secret. But I will not spoil more than that. So yeah, and yeah, there are a couple of scenarios, and another one I think is going to be added shortly to bring us up to date as 2026, I think was the scenario. But yeah, that's just what it is right now, and the resistance is pretty neutral. Well, maybe not neutral, but it kind of is in between. How should I put it? Not entirely militaristic, which is the humanity first, nor the initiative, which is not here, not there, but yeah. And I think the most that I sort of identify might be the academy, but I haven't tried them yet. The resistance is close, but there are different objectives for the different factions, so as long as that what was I? As you can see, the game kind of gives you a heads up on which are what are the changes again presented by each faction. But you know, that's the gist of it. So in case you're new player, you should definitely go with the resistance and maybe a tutorial. But you know, I haven't even tried the accelerated campaign, but the long campaign is just download LA, sounds good. I'll try the acceleration at some point, but first I need to win, which I haven't managed just yet. I'll show one of the state of my latest game a little bit further down the road, but that's to come. So, without further ado, I'll just give you this startup setup, and then we'll talk about a few things that you might want to take into consideration during your game first couple of tries.
We remember the day the stars answered, the day we learned we were not alone. As a familiar sun rose on an unfamiliar universe, some of us saw wondrous possibility and others existential danger. The astronomers had insisted that the bright streak in the sky was no natural phenomenon. Most of us didn't really believe them until it burned through our atmosphere and crashed in a remote region, leaving only wreckage and uncertainty. In our ignorance, we fractured, taking refuge in our most primal emotions. Each of us saw what we wanted to see. Everyone loves heroes, depends on them, to save us from evil, lead us through darkness. Problem is, real heroes are always ignored. What no one understands is that being shot at is easy. The hard part is convincing someone they're drowning before it's too damn late.
There you are.
Greetings, Commander. I am pleased to report the Council has appointed you leader of our organization. I am Fiona Ayawade, your Chief of Staff. While most of the world is reacting with fascination at the arrival of an alien species on Earth, we represent a small group who believes the aliens' crash landing and disappearance may signify a potential threat. We intend to build an international organization capable of investigating and, if necessary, combating any danger aliens may pose.
Alright, we start off with a... let's go. Alien crash site, and what we need to do is get one of our counselors.
Ready for orders.
Ready to go.
Actually go and investigate it. Now, one of the things that even the tutorial, right here, that it doesn't show me because I opened it, and I don't think I enabled it. But in any case, the main objectives are situated here, and go through the tutorial. It will familiarize you with all the menus. So one of the things that it will encourage you is to recruit one of the counselors right away, even if wow. Wow, this is actually very good one. And what does it have? Advice, information. And looking at it, what do we have? We have a government intelligence, which is fine. More profile. And this is a what? Officer. Right. So here are the available missions. One of the most important one is defend interest, as well as let's see it here. What do we have? Government. Oh, billiard. Okay, this role is rather good one. Defend interest, control, advise, crackdown, and purge. Right. And this one is persuasion. Right. I wish that was my latest start, but maybe I'll save this for replay. In any case, what I would advise you to do is check the traits. They're rather important, as they give various initial what's it called, bonuses and penalties. But in any case, since so initially I would suggest that you focus on someone with persuasion and level that up. Investigation and espionage are nice, especially early to mid game, but when you start, administration is something that you need to level up as soon as possible. But in any case, one should be dedicated to persuasion. So, and what's that? That's because you need to get the control points of different nations and
I'm here.
people with
Ready.
persuasion get a better chance at accomplishing the task of getting those control points. For beginners, I might recommend going with trying to get either Mexico. Well, Mexico is maybe the easiest way to go about, or possibly even Latin America. But starting with Mexico, it will, if you manage to gain all of the control points, maybe not Canada, it will be easier to get the United States, which is pretty pretty much one of the most overpowered starts because of the nukes, although I don't recommend using them, and the already what's it called? Resistance of armies. Compared to that, China is not a little bit behind, both on military tech, militech, and number of armies. Same for India. Now, there's something about Russia that is compelling, because, well, it has more nukes. It has one of the better potentials of expansion and unification. Once you get that stage, same for France. India is one of my favorites, to be honest, as well as all that. So you start with a clean state and fight for influence on all those countries. As you'll find with the tutorial, it's good to hit a primary target of a major nation. Maybe I mean, for beginners, I would definitely recommend going from the United States. So managing to get both Mexico and Canada will pretty much net you the ability to, at least initially, get the United States. And with that said, as you will get more comfortable, none of the nations are bad or in any way, but primarily you'll need at least one consular with high persuasion, someone who can do a defend his interests. Once you gain those control points, you'll need to defend them. Someone possibly who can do a, let's see, do we have that? A crackdown. And as you can see, purge. For example, this one, yes, crackdown and purge. But you'll notice that crackdown, which is temporarily disabling the control points, relies on investigation, while purge relies on espionage. So, you'll need to either level both of them on a single counselor, or you'll need to find recruit. Another one who can do that separately, so you can focus on espionage or investigation, respectively. However, one of the good things that came out of my first few playthroughs, which I haven't finished yet, is that you can actually make truces with most of the factions except for the servants, and possibly the protectorate, and that means that even if they should not try to attack you, and that includes your control points. So, and the control points are a sum of these, and as you can see, they are primarily increased either through the stats of the counselors or through additional research. But the point is that if you, for example, have influence here, you have gained this one, you can abandon the nation, sort of saving those control points, even though they don't actually work, but you in the meantime can control the way the nation develops and still sort of save for the future when you have expanded the control points you've got there. So that's one of the takeaways from my previous game playthrough. And yeah, that's pretty much it about Earth. You can once you gain the different nations, especially adjacent one, you can do federations and even unifications, which will lower the cost of owning the nations, virtually making them one, and with that expanding on both population and pretty much everything else, and making them a single point of governance, which is a very nice touch, if you ask me. So yeah, this is pretty much the game. Right, sorry. So one of the things that especially for new players, well, for every playthrough, getting the states first is important because they already have a space program and they already have mission control and monthly boost, which is the greatest compared to the other nations. I think, yeah, nowhere near the states, so getting the states early is quite important, so you don't have to first develop a space program like say here and then starting to gain mission control and so forth. Although there are a couple of nations that already have some, and it's a choice you can make each and every time you start a game. And I think, well, like I said, pretty much every nation is viable, so you can concentrate on getting stuff sorted out on Earth first and then going to space, or trying to get the initial starting boost from the well-established nations, and then pretty much aim for space right away, which is kind of what you should do anyway. The thing is, one of the things is there is a huge tech tree, and one of the things that you should take into consideration is that when you contribute one, you can choose the next one, the next what's it called, which would be the next technology to research. And there are a couple of things that the AI in general tries to skip, but it's kind of important, especially early game. One of them is the space tourism, this outpost mining complex, yeah. At least in my playthroughs, that's something that occurred, and most of the text got rushed quite heavily, but in the meanwhile, things that let you progress a bit more easily get, especially on the financial side, get a little bit left behind. With that said, that is not entirely something that you cannot overcome, but instead, and I got this quite late last game, there are direct investments, and one of your goal pools would be the funding, and as you can see, it just takes a, what's it called, and mind you, for different nations, the what's it called, the numbers are different. For example, funding for Brazil and United States is just one. What was this? Popularity? Influence. But the economy, as you can see, is pretty much double in what's this? The money part, yeah, just money. Okay. So this provides quite a bit of funding boost. So especially if you have a little bit of extra influence, dump it in funding, so you can boost your income. With that said, or whatever you need from here as well, so it really helps, it turns out. So one of your primary what's it called, resources is the influence, which comes directly from from the traits of the counselors. So this one is actually so damn good. 50 money and to what's it called, to influence and 9 influence. Just as a start is absolutely amazing. And like I said, there are traits that you can develop over time, as well as the organizations. So as you can see, as I mentioned previously, I mean, administration is one of your primary stats to level up on all of your counselors, except for the first one with persuasion. But even that helps with when you have the necessary organization. So anything that gives money and influence or persuasion is, or even this, but I'll get to that one in a second, is very important to get early. So if you have to get one, you get this one out of all of these, and then possibly get this one, and I'll explain in just a second why. But pretty much all of the organizations have their benefits as long as you have money and influence to buy it. So yeah, but you know, as you can see, this will increase your persuasion, and that is very, very good. Or you can manage them through here, but I found out that this might be the better menu for it, because it shows you if you have already the resources to pick the organizations, and if you have the capacity for it. So 1 star is one part of the organization administration, which for this one is 7, and there seems to be no penalties for this one, because sometimes you will have penalties and you will not be able to reach the 25 maximum. In any case, go through the tutorial. It explains quite a bit. So, right. The one that we saw with a gear, the organization, you will need to acquire one of those in order to unlock this project research, and that would be one of the important things to do, because completing research gives you initially not as much as you might think, but it's important, because you'll need both the money, the influence, first the influence, then at least once the operations resource, and once the technology starts to be unlocked, it will unlock with that a lot of other things that will need to be researched. So you need that, and the final one comes from a habitat building, but that goes quite quick. that is, let's see if we can find some of those. So this will be of course, this is the building that will allow you to unlock the third one. So I and a lot of other goodies, but you know, this gets ignored by the AI, so you'll need to steer this a little bit. Also, one of the what's called the important ones, research first, not first, be the first to contribute to this research is the missions tool, because it will give you allow you to prospect all of the bodies first in for a lower price around this orbit, so to speak. So try to be the most, be the one to contribute most. Ooh, that's quite a bit actually, and I'm not even halfway through, I think. In any case, once you get enough mission control and boost, you'll be able to establish platforms and in space first. And I would recommend going for the research ones first. But let's see, does it have anything interesting? No. Oh, it does. Okay, so it has this solar collectors for power, and it has a space lab. Especially in Earth interface orbits, which are the ones that are marked with the planetary symbol, you will get bonuses for owning those modules. For example, this one gives a 3% bonus to investments in mission control priority, and the other modules give you similar, as well as 2% research in on the space priority, space tax, sorry. And they're different. I'll show you in my current playthrough some of the, and I would say that's pretty important, especially early game, so it can be a little bit faster in the development. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd say at least get 1 or 2 moon bases early on, so you'll get a little bit of stockpiling of resources. But essentially, I would argue that going to Mars should be your top priority and establishing as many as you can there. Now you can do that in 2 ways. Either build a colony ship, which might be faster. It does not allow me to show you this, but I'll just do that in my other save. And stockpile. Essentially stockpile as much as you can in early stages of the game. Because there is a objective for that for you to complete, you'll need to at least destroy one alien ship. So get some small ships, a lot of them, at least. I don't want to say at least 10, I think, and try to just kill 1 or 2 solitary without going to full war, total war, which is possible, and then try to spread as much as you can. As you you don't have perspective yet, but as you unlock missions too, the perspective intel will appear, and pretty much you need everything, a lot of everything, but you need water, metals, and rare metals, and a lot of, well, as much as you can from the missiles until at least you get to Jupiter. Yeah, so I do not remember. I will need to check if there was a possibility to get the helium in mind on Venera, which if you do, you should definitely get one, but yeah, going to Mercury can be beneficial based on your playthrough, but since it's dangerous, it takes in this case 2 times the normal resources for the buildings, so it kind of depends. On one hand, you know, the yields of both metals and rare metals is quite good. Well, we don't know it, but it's not bad given the ranges. And one of the interesting things is that even though the materials in this case twice as much, it makes them twice as tough. So that means you can probably, especially if your base is stuck with a couple of either point defense or battalions, which I'll show you in a bit, you can fend off quite a few alien ships or even, you know, AI ships from the other factions. Same goes for any other hazardous planet or cold planet or moon, which this is. So you know, it's actually very, very awesome to be able to look at this hole. And I haven't started, but yeah, this game is positively awesome. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Alright, I think we'll skip to where I'm currently in my current playthrough and show you a little bit of the things that I already talked about. Alright, see you in a bit. And here we are.
Reporting in.
Right, something I kind of missed to mention, which is one of the things I wish earlier, is that actually some of the priorities you can finish. So essentially you can get all the benefits from them without once you sort of complete them, and get those benefits without investing further in that priority. One of them is, let's see if I can find someone. Yeah, one of those important things is government, environment, and environment will slowly go to 10, so there are steps. Everyone once in a while you will unlock the next step, but completing environment is worth it, although I haven't quite figured out. Once you get to 10, you're supposed to reverse the climate change, which is a little bit of yeah, whatever. But the point is, currently it's very minimal, even though it's nearly 30%. So I actually don't know if it's worth it. But in any case, building navy and building armies is another one. I haven't completed them. Building space defenses is something that I have completed in the States, but have done so in Brazil and Colombia, well, Grand Colombia, and that. So, you know, depending on your state of mind, you can try to get this sorted out. At the very least, that's my preference, but you know, also the same goes for mission control. You can only go up to the bracket number, and once that's done, the mission control will disappear. Same for, I guess, the bombs and so forth. Well, this is the developed atomic bomb, which once completed gives you the nuclear weapons. But honestly, if you can, don't use that. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. Right. So what was that? Yeah. As you can see, I have pretty much unified the North America and Central one. I think I should be able to sort unify the whole Americas. At the very least, that's what Great. Right, so I'm pretty much here, and so that's what I'm trying to do, but there is something I'm missing there, so we'll see, or not. But there is definitely, so supposedly, you know, it should say that Brazil is missing a North coastal claim on the Grand Columbia original capital, which is Bogota, and I don't know how to get that, but it's not all that important right now. Because I'm pretty much finished, I think. Well, not pretty much finished, but I just need to sort out a few more bases, which is not all that hard, turns out, once you go to the big boys, and and I managed to recapture China and India from the servants, which was no, actually it was from the alien administration, which gets established at one point. On that, you might want to make sure that you have at least one that specializes in command, and so you can take out the alien structures, because when there are alien structures in the different countries, especially controlled by the servants, it will prompt them to establishing the alien administration, which is kind of pain in the backside. Also, be diligent about taking care of the alien life forms, because that can turn into a bit of trouble, but I'll let you find out for yourselves what that means, which is not too bad. It's manageable, but it really depends. If you let them run too rampant. So, as I was saying, especially in the interface, what's it called? Orbit. You'd want to have the
Gotta try the steerable again.
what's it called? The
Okay, looks like it's hold.
come on.
Roger, we got good data. We on steerable down? That's a birdie flight and it's holding in there pretty
The
good.
research
Right.
stations, and
Everybody hang
as
tight.
you can see, I
7.5
have
minutes. Flight guide, this landing radar is fixed to velocity.
45.
Roger. Flight control.
quite a bit,
Fuel.
and depending
Descent to fuel
on
crit.
the alien fleet, that would not be enough to
You didn't want to say critical. Roger. Descent to fuel.
defended, but that's why you have fleets to cover for them. But having this in the interface orbit grants you quite a bit of
Got an estimated, what's our G go? Guidance?
bonuses for the investment points.
Roger, about 30 seconds.
You got 30 seconds to be
Obviously,
Okay,
you'll
we still
start
got
with
landing radar,
the
guys.
tier
Okay,
1
does
ones,
it converge? Beautiful.
but
Does it converge?
as long as
Okay.
you're not in a total
Spider,
war
where'd Joe look real
with the
good. Roger,
aliens,
Spider.
they will. There is a good possibility they will leave you alone for a little bit at the very least, and which kind of means it is sort of the boundaries of living alone is Mars and everything in that is what's the word I'm thinking for inwards towards the sun. So the asteroid belt, Mars, the asteroid belt, and pretty much no further without, trying to defend and destroy your habitats or stations. So, with that said, you don't need to colonize each and every one of the what's it called asteroids, but getting water and metals is something that you should really concentrate and possibly hoard, unless you go total war. And then you just need grids for protection and so forth, but I haven't figured it out, to be honest, which is the optimal. And since I don't like using units, just throwing them to the meat grinder, so to speak, I tend to turtle. So I'm really late game, and I found out that my two favorite, I like the battle cruisers the most, and you need a couple of titans and a couple of destroyers, dreadnoughts. Everything else is kind of optional in my case, but I've seen people talk about swarms and of lighter ships, but they get what I think they get is disintegrated, and relying on swarms is just not my thing. Like I said, I don't want to have anyone die in vain, so to speak. So for that, you'll need quite a bit of resources. So, hoard. Try to establish as many mining bases, especially. Another thing is, unless you're prepared to go total war, don't go over colony, the third tier. So, yeah. What else? What else? What else is important? I thought we had it just now. Oh. Yeah, having at least 2 fleets and maybe someone for guarding is a good idea. And generally, having more ships than your counter part is advisable, even though your strength is not as high as theirs. More ships with, especially with defensive weaponry, is maybe, well, at least that's my weight goal. Like I said, I don't like losing stuff for nothing. And yeah, like I said, once you get the control points, you need to defend them. That's why I need to do
Protecting our interests.
Reporting in.
And anything that I'm missing, maybe not. But to sum it up, target a nation to start with. I mean, a big nation to start with, which is United States, Europe, Russia, China, or India. But as you can start unifying stuff, it will be easier to manage. Early game, make process with all the other factions, if you can, because like I said, I mean, obviously with the servants you can't. I think you can't. I'm pretty sure you can't, but I can't be wrong. So even like I said, if you need to abandon a nation, they will not come claim it. And once you get the necessary control points, you can just get them back after the abandonment action is done. So what else? Priorities. Some of the priorities can be completed, so to speak. Like I said, government is one of them. I prefer it. Environment in the different, what's it called? In the different stages is completable. Space defenses, exofighters, mission control. You can exhaust all of them without much of a issue. Also building army and navy, as long as you fill in those. But right, one of the Militech, that's one of the completable ones, and one of the most important ones, especially if you don't manage to prevent the aliens from landing. You'll need that, and you'll need a lot of what's it called, armies. Fighting on friendly territories beneficial for you and detrimental to the enemy, whichever that is, aliens or other factions, it turns out. And if the aliens have fleet in the orbit, they will bombard you. So retreating is essential, making sure you monitor the hill. At the very worst, get to 50 and get the hell out of there, because otherwise you can lose it, especially if you are deep in enemy territory. But yeah, apart from that, it's something that you should definitely invest in quite a bit.
Where to?
Advice is one of the things that I found to be extremely useful. So let's see if that is explained here. Yeah. So essentially, the advice benefits from 3 stats: the command, administration, and science, and it provides bonuses for those. So essentially, militech, science, and directly and the investments in the economy. So very useful, and you'll need then influence for that work. So if you can, especially early game, stack influence. Very useful. Right, if you can, especially if you're not in Total War, that's something you will manage here. The indication is here. So essentially you can do raids, even pop a spacecraft or two, and not really go into a total war. But yeah, going to total war can be beneficial early on, but again, it is totally dependent on your playstyle. Let's see. Habitats. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. For starters, I will definitely post one of a complete playthrough once I'm done with my current one, maybe. And I'll give it a go with the academy, because that's maybe what I would like to accomplish. Huh. And with that, yeah. And with that, I hope you will enjoy the game. Have a good one.